I am joined by Angela Lowe, Corporate Sales and Events, 5 Red Star Rockliffe Hall Hotel, coming to us from Darlington, United Kingdom, northeast of England, north of Leeds, close to Newcastle, right?
Yes, all of them.
Hey, I got it. So, Angela, why don't you just start us off with a little bit of your personal experience over the past few months?
Well, where do we start? It's been probably a personal challenge for myself, because obviously I wasn't one of the ones that were furloughed or off work or anything, so still trying to keep the momentum of the business going when a lot of other people weren't working. So it was a challenge, but it was also successful at the same time. I got quite a few more sort of business contacts that you wouldn't normally do, because a lot more people were doing the business networks online because you didn't have to travel to them and things. So from my point of view, it was challenging, successful, but very stressful, making sure you maintained your work-life balance as well. Because when you're working from home, you got your computer 24/7. You can just log on at 6 o'clock in the morning for the first breakfast network, and you might still be on for your tea network at 9 o'clock at night. So,
Right.
yeah. But on the positive side, from a company point of view, that kept us in the forefront. And I obviously moving forward, honestly think it's helped. Even though we did find it stressful, it was rewarding, but it's helped us for the future, I believe.
So
I
it's
don't
a
think I would
luxury.
like to do it again.
Yes, please, no. I'm done myself. I'm just done.
Yeah.
But nobody's listening to me.
No.
So it's a luxury hotel resort. It's kind of in the country.
It is. Yeah, we're in a little village on the outskirts of Darlington called Herworth. So we actually set in 375 acres of land. So although you drive into the estate and it's in a village, you would never sort of think, because we literally we have a Tees railway line running along the back of the estate. We've got a river. We have fishing rights. We've got an 18-hole golf course, which has panoramic views of Teesside. So yeah, it's beautiful. So if you like, it's cocooned in its own little zone. So even though you're in the northeast of England, sometimes you would feel as though you're abroad, especially when the weather's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Now,
So,
around June here in the States, there was a big push of revenge travel. I mean, people were just getting out, and a lot of people were getting out to the rural areas. Were you experiencing that?
when the golf course was allowed to open, which was the 23rd of May, we sort of an influx of people just wanting to get out and about, and just literally getting onto the golf course, getting onto the greens, generally walking and keeping active. And that actually increased our footfall through the golf pro shop, obviously the greens and everything, which had again a positive effect on our business itself. But I think it also brought people to the area, because we have a river that runs alongside the estate. So they golf, but they went for a walk along the river. They brought the family and just had that hour R&R in the country. So yeah, it was good.
Is that still going on, or is it starting to wind down? Is school starting to start? Starting
It's
to start.
Yeah, it's starting to wind down, as in the social, but from a personal point of view or a leisure point of view. But the business side of the golf course is still going. So I've sort of seen a big increase in people doing business on the greens, because literally you can have a 4 ball, so you can get 4 different companies together. We've got the social distance measures in place, so you've got your meter distance, etc., and they can actually talk about work but have the leisure at the same time. So that's been really prominent for us, and it again steadies in good stead and gotten the business contacts further down the line.
So how do you see corporate sales and events, your personal bread and butter? How do you see
Yeah,
that over the coming months?
very tricky, I think, is the best thing I can say or describe it, because very much corporate is on hold. Everybody I speak to, they're sort of very reluctant to do the corporate travel, the corporate networks, and even the large conferences that we would normally see an increase in business in September, October, November. A lot of people are hoping that in October, the business and the corporate side would start to move slightly. My personal opinion is that I don't think it'll start in 2020. I think we're more looking at 2021. So we're planning for sort of March, April 2021. But again, it's very tricky, because I think corporate travel is probably going to be one of the most things, and companies that are going to be the most thing effective. And our C&E decline has declined drastically in 2020.
Right. So, can you share with us any tactics that you're using? I mean, even if you're starting to market 2021, like what are you doing?
Yeah, we've had to think outside the box completely. So during lockdown, when we were all on lockdown, the ones that of us were working, we sort of thought, what would we do to try and attract not only corporate but leisure people? And the key thing that we did was we kept engaged with people online through social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. We looked at, like, for instance, we decided that we were going to put a package together, because I think a lot of companies moving forward in 2021 won't have the office space, so people won't have the teams working together. So we could utilise that and make Rockliffe a central place for people that wanted to get together, maybe once a quarter, once every 2 months. So we've literally in the process of devising what I would call a team building day delegate. So you would do fun stuff, but you would also bring the team together. So it would be good for mental well-being, it would be good for the health, but it'll also be good for the company, because sometimes you get a lot more from people if you do it in a fun way. So we're looking at doing that. We're obviously looked very closely to make sure that people feel safe and secure. So no matter what we do, we always put it out there that we're COVID secure. We'll always maintain that. And from another thing, I think we've sort of been very proactive. And like when the spa was closed and we weren't allowed to do anything, and corporates use our spa as well as leisure guests as well, because they do sort of the days away. We sort of looked at putting a spa in a box. So whatever you would get in the spa, we can create it in a box, and people can take it to a company or get it sent to a personal individual that's been working really, really hard. And they've got a video link as to how they'll obviously do the treatment, but they've got all the products in the box, in the basket. So I think it was about us being proactive to the corporate clients and not thinking, well, you have to come on site just to have breakfast, lunch, dinner. You sit round a boardroom table and you discuss things. We literally thought, right, what can we do different? So the other tact I did a big push on, why don't you network on the greens? So we did a big push on that, and I saw a big influx of people come in. But we've also looked at what else we can do for business to business. So we put on sponsorship of buggies, golf buggies, because that gets people or the corporate business profile out there, but it's still working with Rockliffe as well. So we've been creative in trying to make the most of what we've got that can asset other people as well as us.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I love that. Spa in a box.
I'll send you one.
So as we wrap up, we got about a minute. Any advice for hoteliers still out there struggling through this?
Yeah, again, I think it's very much be creative in what you can do. Again, try and think outside the box. And I would highly recommend just keep engaging, even though you might not think it's relevant at the time. Just keep engaging with your clients on whatever you're doing. Talk about the process that you're having during lockdown. One of my colleagues wrote a poem about the whole team, and we put that all together and we sent it out by a video link to our corporate clients and leisure clients. So again, really just engage with people and never be frightened to pick up the phone. Just say, how are you doing? How's things with you? How's business? And it's not the pushy sell, it's literally just keeping in touch. And I think that's the biggest thing that has helped us as a company.
All right. That's some good advice from Angela. Thanks for joining me.
No problem at all. Thank you.
Bye.